Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of Think Pink Tuesday. We are in the evening now. We started at 1 o'clock and we're winding things down. I have a special guest with me today, Nikki, all the way from Florida. How you doing, Nikki?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. A little tired, but full of energy because it's Think Pink Tuesday. You never get tired on this day. So we've had so many inspiring guests today, but Nikki, it's time for you to show you the spotlight, and let's hear some amazing stories about what's going on with you. So if you could start from like a little bit about the beginning, when you got diagnosed a little bit, so we can spread that awareness to everybody else.
Sure, absolutely. So here I live in Jacksonville, Florida, and my newscast does this Buddy Check 12 thing every month, and it's basically where you call on another woman and remind her to check and do self-breast exams. And so I'm a news junkie, so I watch all the time, but I don't really pay that much attention. Like I'm getting coffee and everything. So anyway,
that's a good thing, though, right?
One day they were talking, and they started talking about what to look for, and they had mentioned some like dimpling in the breast, and I thought, well, that's weird because I think I saw something that was dimpling,
Mm-hmm.
and so anyway, a couple days pass or whatever, and I'm like, and now I see myself in the mirror, and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's a dimple there, and so then I do a self-breast exam, and I noticed that I had a lump, and so then COVID hit, and the last place you wanted to go was to a doctor's office, and so I really kind of dropped the ball on that. I had that lump from March until December. And in December, I finally decided to go get it looked at. And I went to my primary care physician, and then the ball started rolling after that. It was just December the 18th, I was diagnosed. And then I got into the Mayo Clinic. And then after that, it was just a whirlwind. And I had surgery in February. Had double mastectomy and reconstruction, and then I had chemotherapy, and then I caught this life-threatening infection and almost died. And then I am now in radiation, and I finished on Friday. I finished all my treatments on Friday, so it's a very exciting time right now.
Yes, Friday you're done. Somebody wants to give you a shout out real quick.
Oh, thank you.
But that is exciting news. So finally, the end is coming, and then you can just
yeah, absolutely
do maintenance. That is wow. Whatever 8 months or whatever it was. I mean, it sounds like
it's going to be a year by the time that it's really like finished. Complete. My goal was to be done by Christmas of this year because I was diagnosed right before Christmas of last year, and it's going to end up pretty much wrapping up right around the same time. Mm-hmm.
So tell me in the beginning, I mean, can you tell us what you were thinking when it first hit you that you were diagnosed? What was going through your mind?
Well, I think, I knew I was going to have cancer. Like before I'm driving into the place to go get my mammogram, and, I feel like I've definitely got the lump. I'm convinced, it was interesting because the doctor was there that day, and they, did my mammogram. I did the 3D mammogram, and then they also had already signed me up for the ultrasound. When I was at my primary care physician and she was feeling around, she's like, there's a pretty significant lump there, so I'm going to go ahead and request that you get the ultrasound at the same time, because normally that'd be like 2 different appointments. You got to wait, and she wanted to move fast. So anyway, I drove there completely convinced that I had cancer, and had told my parents and stuff, I'm going, and I'm kind of concerned for this, and so anyway, so while I was there, they sent me to go to do the ultrasound, and they called in the doctor, and then she started to do it, and then I stood up from the table, and she said, I'm pretty confident that it's cancer. We don't normally, we would normally have this conversation like a couple of days from now, but because of COVID, I'm just going to tell you, I think it is, So I go to the car from getting my mammogram, and I call my family, and I'm like, well, they say that it pretty much is, So, and then it just was this sink in, and, you go through all the emotions of, am I going to die? Is this like, something that's going to take me out? But I always had the mindset that it was never going to take me out. Like, I really felt confident that it was that, this is just part of my journey, and that, my basically God, I feel like God is not finished with me yet. And so I always had that mentality that this is just part of it, and that this is going to be a story to tell, and I'm going to have a testimony at the end of it. And so it just, it's just been kind of just let's just go through the emotions. Let's go through all the process, all the gazillion appointments. Let's just go through it, because at the end, I'm going to be okay. So I decided to take a really aggressive approach. They told me it was a monumental moment whenever I got accepted to the Mayo Clinic, because that was just, I felt like was going to give me the best shot at living. And so whenever I got in there, I live in Jacksonville, and so it's a local hospital here, but it's still very, people from all over the world try to get in. So it was like, how am I going to get in? But I ended up, just by the grace of God, got in. And so that was like, probably one of my big boo-hoos was whenever I got in, because I thought, I'm going to live, And so, but then they told me all the different options. And I'll tell you that I was very naive about breast cancer. The media, I feel like it tells you about survivorship, specifically with breast cancer. All you hear is about breast cancer survivors and all of this, and you may occasionally hear of somebody, but statistically speaking, I was a school teacher before, I'm in my current job.
Okay.
But, in school teaching, everything is data driven. Like whenever you teach English, they break it down to how many questions are on figurative language, and so basically all you do is look at data. So whenever I got diagnosed, that's what I wanted. Present me the data. Like, I want to know, like, what's my percentage of chance if I do this and if I do this, and so I basically they're like, in 20 years, this is monumental. 20 years, 52 people out of 100 will be alive, and the rest won't.
What?
And so we're on, yes, in 20 years. And so it's like, that's not what they tell you. They give you, when you go to get all this information, they give you the 5-year prognosis. Well, in 5 years,
Oh.
No, but the key is 20, because I'm not going to say my age, but I ain't trying to be nowhere in 20 years except still on this earth. So I was like, okay, and so they tell you, like, oh, if you do this option, you'll have an 8% chance at being part of the 52. So it's like, we're talking, it's slim, and so I threw the book at mine. I decided to go double mastectomy. I had one small little lump. I decided to have both my breasts removed. I decided, they took out all of my lymph nodes. In doing so, they found that I had positive lymph nodes. So my cancer had already spread, and we didn't know that originally. So, and then I decided, they were like, well, let's see if you can tolerate the radiation and, the chemotherapy. And so I started the chemotherapy, and they're like, well, we'll say you'll do 4, but if you can, we'd like for you to do 6. So of course I chose to do all of them. I'm really throwing the book at it. So I'm trying to give myself the best chance possible to be able to still be here. And so I've done absolutely everything. I've been very fortunate. My body has responded really well to chemotherapy and radiation, and taking it like in real good stride, real good. I have not gotten sick. I tell people, like, there's women that refuse treatment because they're terrified of the treatment, but the treatment was really not bad at all. And you lose your hair, but it wasn't anything that was not tolerable for me. And there's other women that can't get out of the bed, and I've been very fortunate in the sense that I tolerated the treatment very, very well. So,
well, you wear the short hair just like I thought it would be, like a style. So you're styling and profiling, girl.
Thank you. I get told all the time that it looks cute, so I'm trying to rock it.
You're like, I might just keep this hair. But how about support groups? Are you involved in any? Were you in the beginning, or are you now?
Well, with the reconstruction that I had, I decided to do what's called the deep flap reconstruction, where they take your belly fat and construct you with new breasts from your belly fat.
Oh, wow.
Kind of get a tummy tuck in the whole process. So it's kind of like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
And so, but it's a very arduous surgery. It's 11 hours long, so it can be up to 14 hours, and it's a really hard recovery. And so, or you can just like take out your breast and get implants, which is another option, which is a much, not as big of a recovery and stuff. And so, but I chose the other. And in doing so, I joined some Facebook groups on that procedure because I just really wanted to get more information and try to become more informed. And so that would be the extent of my support groups. I don't have any. I don't go to a support group or anything like that. I just kind of am in part of these groups on Facebook, kind of peering and seeing what other people are doing.
I just, from talking to you right now and before, is like you have this positive outlook all the time. Is this like you 24/7 all the time?
Yes, it is.
I love it.
I've had days, but I mean they're brief. I have my moments because I'm still human. But this is I every day is a blessing, and I'm always thankful for it. And I'm more thankful for it now, but I was always thankful for it before too. And so I just, I try to be positive. I try to radiate light everywhere I go. That's the plan.
Hey, it's just like that song, I had better days. It's like, hey, get over it. The next day comes on. So
that's right.
Exactly right. But I tell you what, tell us a little bit about like what's going on with you now. Like, you're finally getting to that final stage here. Hopefully everything goes well. What else is going on in the future for you?
Yeah, I still have a couple of more surgeries left. I have estrogen positive breast cancer, and so in doing so, my cancer feeds off of estrogen, and so they're doing things to block the estrogen. I'm most likely going to get my ovaries removed, and so I still have. That's why I said I still have a little bit of things left, and part of my reconstruction, I still need to get things done with my reconstruction. But I'm, I just that's just part of it. So it's a long thing. They tell you it's not going to happen overnight. You're going to have multiple surgeries, so, but I feel good about it. I'm going to tell you, Friday I finished treatment, and that is like, that's the cat's meow right there. I mean, I'm just so glad to be done with that part of the whole cycle. It's just like, thank God I made it. That's what I feel like at that point. I've done the hard part, and so I'm good. Yeah.
Nice. So what would you tell anybody that's maybe experiencing this for the first time, maybe the first month, they're maybe upset, sad, or whatever? Give them some hope and motivation. What would you say to them?
Well, I would tell them, recently, I just this past weekend encountered somebody who was newly diagnosed and was coming in, and she was fixing to have the same surgery as me. And so it was very, you don't meet these people every day on the street that are going through this like surgery. This is a big time surgery. And she just so happens to be at the Mayo Clinic as well. And so anyway, it was just kind of a haps meeting, but I was just telling her, this is hard. Like, it's hard, but you're going to be okay. That's the main thing I would tell anybody that's going through it is this is hard. And there's days when it gets really, really, really hard, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you're going to get through it. You just got to keep it really is about mindset and having a survivor's mindset and not feeling sorry for yourself. And, I've been fortunate. I do have the support of my family, and I've got a big friend group, and everybody has just been so supportive of me, even on my sad days. And I was real vocal about that. I know some women keep their journey very private, but I blew the doors off. I really wanted to encourage other people to get screened, because I really feel like I made some mistakes in this too, is that I waited way too long, and my tumor was really large by the time it got discovered. And so this could have been so much easier if I had just, had a small tumor and gotten it just surgically removed. And then, the treatment plan would have been way different, but because I waited. And so I really push. I'm sure everybody that's ever had breast cancer pushes for other women to go get mammograms, but I really push for other women to go get mammograms, men to self exam too, because I hear all the time about other men that are really late in their diagnosis, and so then a lot of times their prognosis is a lot more bleak because they just don't pay attention to their breast tissue, but so that's the main thing. My goal from here on out is to just always tell people to go, go for your annual screenings and I'm really bad about going to the doctor, to be honest with you. I don't go to any doctor for anything. And so, now I'm forced to go to the doctor every single day. Every day I go to the Mayo Clinic. And so it's just like, for somebody who didn't go to the doctor for years, it's a big adjustment, but that's your option. You can go get screened or you can go there every day. And so,
love it. There you go. Get your coffee and go to the doctor, or get the screen and check out. What age do you think that they should start going to the doctor? Is there a certain age?
I'll tell you that I was always told 40, but now a lot of insurance companies don't even let you go get screened at 40. You have to wait till 45. But in these groups that I'm in, there's these 20-year-olds left and right that are diagnosed. And I think, God, at 20, I wasn't even paying attention to my body at all, and so it's just amazing to me that they even found out that they had it, because that's just like, I just don't know that I would have, because I just didn't pay attention to anything. You just, in your 20, you think you're healthy as a horse, and you don't pay attention to your body at all, so, but I would tell everybody, really and truly, I would imagine after you're 21, and that you probably really should start doing self-breast exams, because I just see it with these young girls, they've got little babies and stuff at home. It's really sad. And I'm just very blessed that, I don't have any children, so I didn't have anybody to take care of or anything like that. I could only focus on me, but other people are having to run their whole lives with all these other people. And, and I could focus on me. So I look at that and I think, wow, that's a lot to endure. To have babies that you're trying to take care of in the midst of all of this would be really hard. So I would encourage all young people to start doing self-breast exams as well.
Exactly. And I think from today, talking to everybody, it was on the podcast, that, if you feel something's wrong with your body, go get checked. If you feel like it could be a cold, it could be an itch somewhere, you never know what's going to happen. Go get checked, and it could possibly be something that you can save your life on.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's with everything, and your body does tell you. There were things now, in hindsight, Monday morning quarterbacking, that I can say I probably should have paid attention to, like there was some, I had some things that were probably not exactly right that I should have noticed, so way before I did. So you got to pay attention to your body. I was tired. I was sleeping all the time, like things that, now and looking back, I was like, okay, that probably was my body trying to heal itself whenever it had cancer, and I just didn't know that. And I was just like passing out, sitting up. I was just going to sleep all the time.
Meanwhile, you're thinking, oh, I'll just get over this. It's going to be like, I'm just tired for a couple of days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it just fades away. Nikki, before we wrap things up, because I tell you what, you are full of energy. Man.
Thank you.
And I love that. Is there anything you'd like to tell anybody, the audience out there, on, awareness, or anything that they can maybe reach out to you or anything like that?
Oh, I'm an open book. Anyone can reach out to me. I'll comment below so that somebody can reach out to me if they're interested in possibly, if they find out that they have the diagnosis and are interested in what I've done as far as my surgeries and, all of that. I certainly would be open to talking to anyone. I would like to be used, to help other women going forward. That would be the goal, is that I can hopefully give somebody some guidance so that they don't go through the same mistakes that I did. I mean, even in my plan, and even though I was at the Mayo Clinic, ideally I should have done things in a different order, but because we didn't know that my cancer had spread, we decided to go ahead and do the surgery early, where other women get chemotherapy, shrink their tumors, and then go do surgeries and stuff like that. So we kind of thought that it was all contained, and so we went and acted on that. But then, and because of that, I've had some other things that have happened, that probably wouldn't have happened. So I can certainly offer guidance. I'm open to that. I certainly, of course, would recommend everybody go get screened, and I just be thankful. Just be grateful every day that we wake up. Just be very grateful. Count your blessings. We're just so blessed, and it just, always to just try to live so that you're always positive.
You're so right. And on that note, we're going to say thank you to our proud sponsor today, Toothman Ford from Grafton, West Virginia. They sponsored the whole day. So
That's awesome.
I'm going to give them a shout out there. They are good people there, and they give a lot back for definitely for Breast Cancer Month and many more celebrity and charity events. But I just want to thank you for coming on. I mean, it's at the end of the night, and you're just wound ready to go. I don't know if you had coffee yet, but man, it was great to have you on. A good fresh breath of air of, the hope. Let us know what goes on. Please keep us in touch what goes on in the next couple of weeks. Like I said, you're part of the Think Pink family, so you'll be on next year. I'm going to invite you back already. So last Tuesday of October, put it in your book. You're going to be on the show.
Thank you so much, Richard. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And you guys have a great night.
You too. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
God bless you.
Thank you. You as well.